Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Norwegian ebook before it's gone.
Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, what are bokmål and nynorsk? Many of you have probably heard of bokmål and nynorsk, literally meaning book language and New Norwegian respectively. But did you know that you can't actually speak bokmål or nynorsk? So, what exactly are they? They're the two official written standards in Norway. Danish was the written language in Norway from the 1600s to the 1900s because of a union with Denmark. Because of this, bokmål is highly influenced by Danish and is used by around 85% of Norway's population, regardless of which dialect is spoken. Nynorsk is only used by around 10 to 15% of the population, but there are a lot of dialects that may seem closer to nynorsk than bokmål. Nynorsk was created by Ivar Aasen, a Norwegian philologist, lexicographer, playwright, and poet, in the 1800s as an alternative to the Danish language. He traveled around Norway studying dialects and based nynorsk on the similarities between the dialects. Norwegians learn both bokmål and nynorsk in school, but unfortunately many Norwegians don't seem to want to study nynorsk, which is a shame, as it's quite rare to have two official written languages in one country. However, the Norwegian Broadcasting Corporation, NRK, supports both written languages. Newspapers have articles in nynorsk too. Having two official written languages can sometimes cause confusion for both Norwegians themselves and foreigners. For example, stamps in Norway are issued with Norway spelled as either Norge, which is bokmål, or Noreg, which is nynorsk. Some stamp collectors actually think that this is a misprint. And that's it. Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det, vi ses snart. Bye, see you soon. Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, will a Norwegian who speaks another dialect be able to understand me? Norway has a lot of dialects, so this can be a challenge for Norwegian learners. As you may already know, Norwegian has two official writing systems, bokmål and nynorsk. A person's dialect will be the closest to one of these writing systems. Norwegian dialects are usually divided into Northern Norwegian, Central Norwegian, Western Norwegian, and Eastern Norwegian. Remember, all of these groups have several dialects. Many dialects developed in Norway because of the inability to communicate with other villages that were separated from each other by large mountains. This isolation meant that groups of Norwegians spoke differently, even if they were only kilometers away. When you learn Norwegian, your way of speaking will be closest to bokmål, which is the most commonly used. Therefore, probably all Norwegians will understand you. You, on the other hand, may struggle with all of the dialects and have some problems understanding a Norwegian speaking with a different dialect than you're used to. But don't worry, most Norwegians are very kind, and if you can't understand them, they will switch to speaking something closer to bokmål. An important tip to remember is that Norwegians are very proud of their own dialects. Therefore, it's better not to tell them if you prefer another dialect or if you find theirs hard to understand. You may end up offending someone. Okay, I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses senere. Bye! See you later! Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I know which gender a noun is? A lot of people aren't sure how to tell which gender a noun is. Unfortunately, there are no rules to learn what gender the noun is without the article. So many people learn the nouns and articles together. Norwegian nouns are divided into 3 genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. Let's go over each gender. First up, masculine nouns. Masculine nouns have the article en, which means a or an. Let's take the noun gutt, meaning boy, for example. En gutt, meaning a boy, is a singular indefinite noun. To make it a singular definite noun, you add the suffix en to gutt. Then you get gutten, meaning the boy. For the plural indefinite noun, you add er, and you get gutter, meaning boys. Finally, for the plural definite noun, you add ene, and you get guttene, meaning the boys. Let's look at another example, using the same order. En bil, bilen, biler, bilene. A car, the car, cars, the cars. Next, feminine nouns. Here, you use the article I, meaning a or n, for feminine nouns. Let's use the word dør, meaning door, as an example. For the singular indefinite form, you add the article I. So, I dør means a door. For the singular definite form, you add the suffix a after dør. Then you get døra, meaning the door. In the plural indefinite form, you add er and get dører, meaning doors. Finally, in the plural definite form, you add ene and get dørene, meaning the doors. Not so bad, right? It's very similar to the conjugation of masculine nouns. Here's one more example. Ei bok, boka, bøker, bøkene. A book, the book, books, the books. Last, we have neuter nouns. Neuter nouns have the article et. Let's take the noun hus, meaning house. In the singular indefinite form, you just add et and get et hus, meaning a house. In the singular definite form, you add the suffix et and get huse, meaning the house. In the plural indefinite form, you generally don't need a suffix, but remember, some neuter nouns need the suffix er. Hus doesn't, so you just say hus, meaning houses. Finally, in the plural definite form, you add the suffix ene and get husene, meaning the houses. Let's do an example where you need the er suffix. Et vindu, vinduet, vinduer, vinduene. A window, the window, windows, the windows. How was this lesson? Don't worry if you don't get it right away. Remember, practice makes perfect. And you can learn more about nouns at norwegianclass101.com. Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses snart! Bye! See you soon! Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I say to go in Norwegian. Many Norwegian learners think that both å gå and å dra mean to go, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. In English, you can use the word go in many situations. For example, if you say, I'm going to the store, we don't know if it actually means I'm going to drive to the store or I'm going to walk to the store. The point is just that you're going. In Norwegian, saying something similar is a little tricky. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use å gå and å dra correctly. Å gå is only used for the actual act of walking. Here's an example. Jeg går til butikken, which means I'm walking to the store. If you don't need to emphasize how you're getting to the store, you'll use å dra. Å dra is the verb that best translates as to go. Let's practice with a similar example. Jeg drar til butikken, which means I'm going to the store. Here are some other examples. Jeg drar hjem. I'm going home. Or jeg drar til Norge. I'm going to Norway. When traveling, you can use å dra to go or å reise to travel. Of course, you can use å gå too if you're actually going to walk to Norway. An example would be jeg reiser til Norge. I'm traveling to Norway. Instead of jeg drar til Norge, I'm going to Norway. Okay, that's it for this lesson. I hope I helped clear things up for you. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det, vi ses snart. Bye, see you soon. Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, how do I say to think in Norwegian? If you look up the verb to think in Norwegian, you'll find 3 words, å synes, å tro, and å tenke. All of these words come from Old Norse. In Old Norse, å synes means to show, å tro is related to the words meaning safe and reassurance, and å tenke means to discover or to understand. So, how do you know which one to use? Let's do some examples so that you can learn how to use å synes, å tro, and å tenke correctly. Let's start with å synes. Å synes is used when you have a personal opinion about something or somebody. Here's an example. Jeg synes han snill, which means I think he's nice. Another example would be jeg synes at prøven var vanskelig, meaning I thought the test was difficult. The next one, å tro, can be used when you're unsure about something or somebody. Let's do some examples. Jeg tror hun kommer hjem I morgen means I think she'll come home tomorrow. And jeg tror han kan svømme means I think he can swim. In both examples, you're not sure if these are true statements. It's also common to use å tro when something didn't turn out the way you expected. For example, jeg trodde prøven skulle være vanskeligere. This means I thought the test was going to be more difficult. The verb å tro can also translate as to believe. Here are some examples. Jeg tror på Gud, meaning I believe in God, and hun tror ikke på meg, meaning she doesn't believe me. The last one is å tenke. Å tenke is used when the act of thinking is significant. For example, jeg tenker på deg hele tiden. I'm thinking about you all the time. Or gi meg litt tid til å tenke på det, meaning give me some time to think about it. Å tenke can also be used when you have planned to do something. For example, jeg har tenkt å rydde rommet I morgen, meaning I plan to tidy up my room tomorrow. Here's one more tip. Lately, people have been using å tenke when they mean å synes when asking for someone's point of view. For example, hva tenker du om global oppvarming? Meaning, what do you think about global warming? This is probably due to the influence of English and is often used by journalists when they want to get an opinion. And that's it. Do you have any more questions? Please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses snart! Bye! See you soon! Hi everybody, Annette here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Norwegian questions. The question for this lesson is, where do you place ikke in a sentence? Norwegian and English are similar in many ways, but when it comes to ikke, meaning not, the rules are very different and a little challenging to learn. Let's do some examples so you can learn how to use ikke correctly. In basic sentences, ikke comes after the verb. Here's an example. Jeg spiser ikke fisk, meaning I don't eat fish. If the object of the sentence is a pronoun, like I or you, then ikke will come after the pronoun, not the verb. Let's change fisk, fish, in the previous sentence to the pronoun den, meaning it. Jeg spiser den ikke. I don't eat it. When there's more than one verb in a sentence, ikke is placed after the first verb. Here's an example. Han vil ikke spise fisk, meaning he doesn't want to eat fish. In this example, we have the modal verb vil, to want, and the verb å spise, to eat. So we have to put ikke after vil, which is the first verb in this sentence. When we use expressions like when and if, ikke is placed in front of the verb. For example, når jeg ikke spiser frokost, blir jeg lett sint, which literally means when I don't eat breakfast, I easily get angry. Another example would be, hvis du ikke kan delta, send meg en melding. This means, if you can't participate, send me a message. Here, ikke comes before the verbs å delta, to participate, and å spise, to eat. Ikke is also placed after a reflexive pronoun such as myself or yourself. Here's an example. Jeg kuttet meg da jeg hakket løk, meaning I cut myself while I chopped onions. Or, hun legger seg ikke senere enn klokka 11. Literally, this means she doesn't lie herself later than 11 o'clock. However, the more natural translation is, she doesn't go to bed later than 11 o'clock. Lastly, if you use ikke as a command, you need to put ikke in front of the verb. Here's an example. Ikke løp, meaning don't run. Okay, I hope that helped answer your question. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. Ha det! Vi ses senere. Bye! See you later!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Norwegian ebook before it's gone.